All right, Undrafted viewers, welcome to the U, our weekly segment of everything sports. Today, talking about the NFL and the Super Bowl. Thoughts? Let's start at Robbie. What do you think about the Super Bowl?
It was a good game. A lot more offense than I thought. I thought the defenses were going to come in big, but one sack the whole game. I was not expecting that. But yeah, I'm happy the Chiefs came out. I don't like the Eagles, but it was a good game.
I'm personally the only one on the show that took the Chiefs winning, so could have said told you so, but I mean, great game. Love to see the high scoring. Probably one of my favorite Super Bowls in a while. Questionable holding call at the end, but at the end of the day, great game. Thoughts?
I'm wearing red for a reason, baby. I wish our co-commentator Jace was here so I could rub it in a little more, that little jabroni. But loved it. Loved Travis Kelce. I was chirping all the Eagles fans at the bar. It was a great time. What about you?
That was the best Super Bowl in my lifetime that I've watched, other than the Giants' 2 Super Bowls we won. That was such an entertaining game. That's anything we could have ever asked for in a Super Bowl, and I'm happy we got it, especially with an Eagles loss.
100%.
I just want to say Travis Kelce is definitely on pace to be the greatest tight end of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And I am meat riding so hard right now.
Deservingly so. He deserves all the meat
He's
riding.
great. I wish both the Kelce brothers could have won a bowl, but it doesn't work out like that. But It was a great game. I loved watching it. There was, like you said, that's the best one I've seen in my lifetime. And I'm a Jets fan, so I have nothing else to say.
I wanted to bring up the point about the $80,000 grass sod field that
$800,000.
Oh, $800,000. Everyone hear that again. $800,000. More people than not were slipping. Can we talk about that a little bit?
I don't get the reason they tried that out on the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. Everyone was slipping. The paint was terrible. Everyone was slipping all game. You see, Eagles were changing cleats like the entire game, like every drive.
Chiefs were too. Yeah. Only thing I want to say about that.
Chiefs didn't.
Everyone was changing their cleats. I just want to say that it's the same. It's the same issue everyone says with Yankee Stadium. Guess what? Both teams had to use the same field. There wasn't any advantage for one to the other. It's not like one knew it was going to be slippery. I think that's just an excuse Eagles fans are making right now. Personally, that's what I think. Same thing with the penalty. I don't think that really changed the course of the game that
Let's
much.
talk about that.
I wanted to talk about the penalty.
So go right into that.
A penalty is a penalty. It doesn't matter if it's a soft penalty. It doesn't matter when in the game it is. A penalty is a penalty. All these Philly fans complaining about it. If you don't want a soft call against you, don't soft penalize a guy.
And that's what Brad Berry said, though. He said I 100% held him. The one thing I've been seeing Eagles fans say is that he wasn't above the line of scrimmage yet.
You could bump.
You can't hold him.
You could bump and everything. You can't be behind him holding it like that.
I 100%.
Like, because you get the 5 yards of scrimmage pushback of the contact, but contact isn't a penalty. You can't hold him 5 yards in.
Yes.
Because that's what I was thinking too.
Held his hip, swiveled him around so he could get back to him, like almost like a slingshot. I just want to say, I think the Chiefs were going to win the game anyway, so I don't know why they're causing such a big issue. Do you want to talk about that?
I was because that's exactly what I was still going to say. The Chiefs are still going to win that game regardless. Yes, that was third down. Were the Eagles going to march down if they had 30 seconds more? I mean, it was more like a minute and a half still.
Maybe.
Chiefs are still probably winning. Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
It's all a maybe.
And to be fair with those penalties and stuff, I mean, the Eagles got away with some things too. Like that Dallas Goedert catch, that's definitely questionable too. So, I mean, that's fire against all Eagles fans if you're a Chiefs fan. So, I mean.
One thing I wanted to say that Jarrett McKinnon, I know Robbie had him anytime touchdown. I know that broke a lot of people's hearts and wallets, but that is the right play. And you know, as being a Giants fan, what happened when, who was it, Ahmad Bradshaw tried doing it, but his tush was a little too heavy. And
what happened? G-Men
they
still won,
baby.
So
it didn't matter, but same stuff. That was heartbreaking. I know you were pissed about that one when it happened. But yeah, that was a great play by him. One thing I did want to mention, I don't know if you have this in your notes. Did you see the last play with Jalen Hurts?
Oh my gosh.
Jalen Hurts played an amazing game. That is the best I think I've ever seen him play ever. I've watched him since college. I've never seen him play that good. He was dotting. I mean, whatever you say with the Goddard catches, they were dots. They were right where they had to be third down, high pressure situations. But yeah, how does that not even go at least to the 20? Like, holy crap, dude.
If a player on the losing team was allowed to win Super Bowl MVP,
it would be him.
He should have won it.
100%.
He should have won it. He was the best player yesterday.
Yeah,
yes.
100%.
Well, a passing touchdown, 300 passing yards, 70-something rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Crazy. That's awesome.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about the Eagles? Because I kind of want to get into a little bit of the Chiefs. So.
No, I think we're good.
I got one more thing to say. I really thought Eagles defense was gonna be a bigger presence. Not even a sack. Chiefs, they made the adjustments. So, yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yeah, I've just from watching the game personally, the Eagles were humming on offense, but the Chiefs were just going effortlessly down the field. That first drive, it seemed like they scored in 30 seconds, right? Like, It was crazy. So let's go right into the Chiefs. Obviously, big congrats, everything, whatever. I already talked about Travis Kelce. I want to talk about Mahomes. As much as Jalen Hurts, could have won, Patty Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP for a reason. On a busted ankle, definitely had every drug in his system by halftime. So, kudos to him, obviously. That huge scramble late in the game kind of is what sealed the game. So, he's the I don't want to say he can be the greatest of all time, but he's on a damn good path today. So that's one thing I want to get into.
Big shoes to fill.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he needs to win at least 5 Super Bowls to even be in the 5 more Super Bowls to be in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on a great path right now. 5th year in the league. What is this? 3rd Super Bowl, the 3rd appearance, 2nd win. So and
2nd Super Bowl MVP.
And he won regular season MVP. That doesn't happen a lot anymore, So is there anything you guys want to say about the Chiefs?
Well, they were kind of cursed, or Pat Mahomes was kind of cursed. He was supposed to lose the Super Bowl because the last 9 MVP winners lost in the Super Bowl or something.
Or haven't even made it there. Yeah.
But I want to talk about someone other than Mahomes on the Chiefs, and that's Isaiah Pacheco.
I love it.
He is starting to become my favorite player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He runs like an animal, and he had the game of his life in the Super Bowl.
Jersey boy too.
Rutgers native.
Yeah, I think you're from Vineland, I want to say, somewhere like about 30 minutes away from here. So, that's awesome. Obviously, Jersey pride, everything like that. Love seeing him. I saw someone on Twitter said he runs like someone has a gun to his family's head every carry, and I just absolutely love that. And I think that perfectly describes how he runs. So.
He runs like a bat out of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Great. For this season, obviously, they won a Super Bowl out of it. I don't think that's good for his career. I see him getting injured, especially running backs are always getting injured. I don't see him lasting very long. Need some Alvin Kamara lessons or something. I love the way he plays. I'm not bashing that at all. I just every time that's like I'm
waiting
cringing.
for that.
I'm cringing because he runs way too hard.
And he's not a big boy. What is he, all of 5'9", 5'10"? He's no way more than 200 pounds. And he's running with these 300-pound guys that landed on him, hit him in the
And the Eagles were hitting so hard yesterday.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Considering their defense really didn't show up or do much, they were hitting hard.
Mm-hmm. Gardner Johnson, I saw, had a nice hit up the middle. Kind of got trucked a little bit, but still, Eagles defense, I think, didn't play that bad of a game. I think the Chiefs offense is just that damn good, and that's how I feel about it. I think any other offense, the Eagles are kind of clamping them, but you can't stop the Chiefs.
It's hard to stop the Chiefs, but I was expecting a much better day from the Eagles defense. I was not expecting the Chiefs to put up 38 yesterday.
Yeah, that was crazy. I wasn't expecting the Eagles to even put up more than 30, though. I didn't think it was even going to be like that.
It's crazy that they put up 35 and still lost.
Yeah,
that's a tough day.
Yeah, that's not.
It was a
dog
dogfight.
Offense.
It was a dogfight from the jump in the end. So great. It was just a great Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, what a Super Bowl.
Awesome. Loved watching it. Glad I'm alive for it.
I just think this also cements Andy Reid as one of the Mount Rushmore coaches in the NFL.
100%. That reminds me. Isn't me or was Terry Bradshaw out of pocket yesterday during the Super Bowl? During the Super Bowl celebration, he's like. He said it like 5 or 6 times that he was fat and old. And it was pretty much what Terry Bradshaw said is, you're fat and old, but you did it.
I think Terry Bradshaw was off the hen dog a little bit. He was feeling himself. I think he was reliving those times he won those Super Bowls. I think he was just getting a little fuzzy.
It was OD about that Andy Reid stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That must be his little bro or something.
I was like, all right, the cheeseburger joke, throw that in 1 or 2 times. That's funny. he would not stop with Andy Reid as fat Andy Reid, like to his face, and then he's like, huh, hand it to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid's like, yeah. It's like out of pocket.
One point I want to make, which is why I brought up Andy Reid, the Kadarius Toney touchdown. So the one second down, if you didn't notice, they did the same thing on both of their touchdowns. Motioned over, they saw how the Eagles were doing it, they were kind of passing him off. So what they do, next play, motion him over, he stops dead in his tracks, runs a zig route, no one within 15
Nowhere
feet
near
of him.
him.
Yeah, 15 yards of him, I should say.
Also, maybe Andy Reid's asking for the fat jokes, because you know what that play's called?
Corn dog.
Corn dog,
And he loves
yeah.
it with mustard and ketchup.
Yup.
He owns up to it. Andy Reid, I don't think is trying to be on the cover of GQ or anything, but I mean, great coach. I mean, I really don't think there's any better offensive mind in the league right now, and that's how I feel.
No, definitely not. You don't see that. That's
Especially
crazy.
with the plays they run, like during the regular season, that play they had against the Raiders, where they did the little ring around.
Yeah,
they did that again.
Yeah.
They did that yesterday. The carousel.
That's crazy.
I just want to say one thing about Andy Reid, and this will be the mic drop. If you can make Marquez Valdez-Scantling a Super Bowl champion, you are the greatest coach of our generation. That's all I'm saying.
True.
I mean, look at that receiving core.
A receiving core of MVS, Juju, and Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
That is just like a poop show. Dude.
Yeah.
That's terrible. On any other team, they would do so bad at receiving core.
One point I wanted to make about Juju, which I think is so ironic, is everyone knows him as this TikToker. You know, he's with Jackson Mahomes. Quarterback. He is the wide receiver that does all the dirty work, though. He doesn't care about blocking. He will chip block. He is actually like such a great glue guy, and I think that gets kind of put in the shadows because of his personality being like, you know, such an exuberant guy. But I think he's really a great glue guy and a great pickup for them. I think he should stay there for the rest of his career if he could. I really
The
think
Chiefs
so.
could get anyone as wide receiver. They proved that this year. They won with a terrible receiving core. It's Mahomes, bro. It's Mahomes and Andy Reid. They are insane. You could put anyone with them and they will go off.
So what do you think if Travis Kelce retires tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know.
That's tough. That's how I think too. I think he's like we were just saying, he's the greatest tight end of all time. So, all right, let's go to a new topic. I want to talk a little bit about free agency. I've heard some weird stuff about this Aaron Rodgers situation. Have you guys been hearing about this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, his 4-day darkness retreat starts today, baby.
Today.
Aaron Rodgers is on either shrooms or acid right now, contemplating his next life choice. No electronics, no nothing. Sitting by himself,
In a cabin in the
high
woods.
as a kite in a cabin in the woods, thinking about his next move. And it better not be the Jets, unless that is going to be a waste.
As a Jets fan, I hope he has the greatest high of all time. I hope he sees himself in Broadway, Gotham Green, and I hope Joe Namath talks to him and tells him, you're the next quarterback of the Super Bowl winning Jets. And that's what I would love to hear.
You're selfish, dude. He's hoping he's stuck in an acid loop the rest of his life to sign with the Jets.
It's the only way we'll get him to sign with us. I know a good trade, but whatever.
Jets lease that.
Yeah. Make sure
It's
to
really
get the
just
good
like,
stuff.
oh, we got it for you. Don't worry.
We got the Joker to put in some good stuff to his
Yeah.
his acid trip. Anything you want to say about this situation? Obviously, it's a funny situation, but at the end of the day, it is a huge decision in the landscape of the power rankings of the NFL.
Personally, I do think the Packers obviously are going to look for a trade. Jordan Love, I mean, he's been sitting behind Rodgers his whole career. I think it's his time, to shine a little bit in Green Bay. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers obviously getting older. I mean, probably doesn't have that much time left in the NFL. We don't know. I mean, I could totally see the Jets getting for him. I mean, if he still wants to play, he's gonna play. So it's just a matter of who signs him, who trades for him.
Yeah. So sorry, I meant to say you do have to trade. The Jets would have to trade for him.
Yeah.
He's not a free agent. He signed an extension. Robbie, what do you want to say about this?
I personally would love to see him go to the Jets.
Thank you.
I
right?
think that'd be awesome. They got great receivers there for him. The whole team's good. That's all they need is a quarterback.
The
So
line might be another touch up, but I mean,
okay, they might need a couple.
everyone can get
but,
better over.
But Aaron Rodgers would make that team. I don't want to say contender yet.
Say a
but
playoff. Let's say a playoff team. Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to
think
see him on the
that'd be fun to
Raiders.
watch.
I want to see him on the Raiders. That offense would be electric.
Yeah.
See, me and Kyle, if you undrafted viewers don't know, me and Kyle are like both of our second teams are the Raiders. We always root for them a little bit. I just don't know if I want to see that, to be honest. I don't know what the whole situation is with Davante and him, if they ended on good terms, bad terms. It kind of seemed like they ended on bad terms. I don't know if I want to see him in a Raiders jersey as a secondary Raiders fan, also being a little biased from being a Jets fan. But, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I just think the Raiders would be a better fit for him. I see the Jets being good in like 3 to 4 years when they're rookies and second-year guys because they've had great draft classes the past 2 years. Once those guys develop in another 2 or 3 years, then it'll be ready to go. But I think Rodgers only has 2 or 3 years left. So he needs to sign with a team that's ready to go, like the Raiders. If the Raiders could put a defense together and get Rodgers, then they will be contenders. I see him, like when he is retiring, that's when I think the Jets are going to start to pick it up.
So your main point of this is that the Jets' timeline does not match up to Rodgers as well as the Raiders does, which I would totally agree with. The Raiders are win now, and there's no win later. Once Davante's gone, Jacobs might be gone, Waller's getting older by the second. I agree with that fact, but I personally think his career would go better if he went to the Jets.
Yeah, but his whole thing has been he doesn't want to be Brett Favre. If he goes to the Jets and ends his career there, literally Brett Favre. That's literally Brett Favre.
But I totally agree with that. But it seems to be like the Packers curse, I guess you would call it. You get replaced by a guy that sat behind you. He becomes a Hall of Famer also, and then you go to a couple teams at the end of your career to get one more Super Bowl.
That's been the past 50 years.
The past 50 years of Green Bay quarterbacks. That is probably the trajectory it's going to go on. So
I feel like Rodgers doesn't. I mean, obviously you're getting a MVP caliber quarterback. If
2
he's
MVPs
going,
in the last 3
to
years.
Raiders. But that Raiders defense sucks, dude. They need to fix a lot of stuff with that defense to make them in the conversation to be a contender.
And that's why
I don't think Rodgers gets them over that hump just by himself.
Then that's what I'm saying with the Jets. I think the supporting cast of that defense will elevate obviously Rodgers will help the offense, but that defense can win games by itself.
Yeah, but the Jets are not winning the Super Bowl next season or the next season. They are not. They're not.
Well, I mean, obviously, you have to play the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why. And there's a lot of other great teams coming up. You have the Jaguars coming up. You have the Chargers. You have the Bengals. You have a whole plethora of teams that are already.
If they get Rodgers, they're right in that mix, though.
If they get Rodgers, they're still the third best team in that division. Out of 4 teams in that division.
They're better than the Dolphins, just off quarterback alone.
No, I don't agree.
Really?
I don't agree.
I think the Jets defense compared to Miami defense, Jets win all day. Miami offense way better than Jets offense though. I think Rodgers is the X factor if this were to happen. I think he would be the X factor in that. We'd be the second best team, still behind the Bills. So I'm not saying that.
Let alone whoever signs Aaron Rodgers, your team is already in contention. You got to think about how Aaron Rodgers has played the past few years. I mean, back-to-back MVPs. Could take the Green Bay. He took Green Bay far. I mean, he obviously gets them to the playoffs. Obviously, last season wasn't his best, but
bad supporting cast too. A lot of turmoil there. One last point I want to make. I know we could go on for this for a while. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets would be the greatest thing. Aaron Rodgers gets so much media attention in Wisconsin. What would happen if he's in New York? It'd be like how LeBron is. It's gonna be every day. Aaron Rodgers, what did he have for lunch today? What did he poop out today? Exactly, and that is honestly a main reason why I don't think it will happen.
I didn't even think about that.
That's like a very.
Then how do you support that claim with him wanting to go to Las Vegas? Same kind of.
Nothing's like New York.
City.
Nothing's like New York or LA. Nothing's the same as that in any sport.
Yes, exactly.
That is 100%.
Make the argument for Toronto with hockey, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, well, I got that. Yeah,
that's still nowhere near New
Rangers.
York,
yeah,
or like LeBron level. That's hockey.
Yeah, I mean LeBron. Yeah. One last thing I wanted to say. I truly think the best option for the Jets going forward is Lamar Jackson if it's on the table. I think he fits the timeline of it that you were just talking about way better than Rodgers does. The only thing I'll say is I think if we get him, we would have to pay him way too much money, and I think that would be detrimental to our team. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't see Lamar making the Jets too much better. I don't like the way that he plays in the Jets system. I don't see that meshing too well. I see like a Derek Carr type of guy going to the Jets. I think Derek Carr is either going to go to the Jets or the Saints because that is a match for him. I don't see Lamar's play style matching up with the Jets' play style.
What do you have to say
I
about
agree.
that? You're a Ravens fan, so obviously this might be a little bitter of a subject, but I just,
Sensitive
No,
topic.
it is,
Yeah.
but I mean, I also agree with Kyle. I don't think Lamar Jackson fits in with the Jets offense whatsoever. I mean, obviously you have Lamar, you have to kind of change your whole offensive scheme around him. And I mean, this past season when Joe Flacco was even playing, I mean, the receivers were eating. Like, that's the type of play that the Jets need and the Jets want. And Aaron Rodgers is that type of fit. Derek Carr is that type of fit. I think that, like, all those two quarterbacks alone are that type of fit for New York. And I just don't see Lamar playing for them. And I do think Lamar stays with the Ravens. So
I just want to, before Robbie goes, so you guys are basically saying a pro-style pocket passer is more of the style that the Jets need, more
Yes.
than a Lamar Jackson. Obviously, you can't get Jalen Hurts, but that type of player,
Yeah, like the
that
mobile.
improviser.
Definitely, because who on the Jets offense are people getting excited about?
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Lamar on that team takes away from both of them.
Okay, but would you not say it adds a new element to the entire offense that you would have to worry about a read option?
It adds an element, but it takes away from the playmakers. Like,
Okay.
Lamar is like one of the only playmakers on the Ravens. Like,
Yeah.
And like what Boley said, like you gotta build your playbook around Lamar if
Yeah.
he's your quarterback. So
If you want to use him to his max capabilities, you have to, what Greg Roman does for the Ravens, you got to alter the entire playbook. So
Exactly.
I totally get that. I want to talk about Derek Carr. I know we're probably running a little long on time, but Derek Carr, I've been hearing, so they have 2 days to either trade him or cut him. They cut him, they owe him $40 million. Or they trade him. So it's either you lose $40 million and you get nothing for him, or you trade him and you
Why-
can at least get something back.
why do they only have 2 days?
Because by
his
then,
contract, I think. His contract or something.
I want to say, yeah, his contract is up.
Oh.
I might be wrong with that. Could you actually, if you could, look that up? I want to say they owe him either $40 million in 5 days if they cut him. Oh, I'm sorry. $40 million if they don't cut him, because obviously they would have to pay him for the year, but then they could trade him or cut him and you get nothing back for him. So what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Do you still have to pay him if you cut him?
You have to pay the rest of his contract
Right,
out,
okay.
but and you get no assets back.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think Derek Carr is worth at least a pick, like
A third?
Yeah, like
A third or
fourth,
fourth?
third. I mean, dude, why? Like Derek Carr, obviously, the $40 million contract is a lot for him, but at the end of the day, Derek Carr is still a decent enough quarterback. He's better than Darnold. He's better than like Davis Mills. Like, I mean, like all these people that are like, you know, who need a quarterback. I mean, look for him. He's still good. He's still. I mean, he's not the youngest quarterback, but he still can play. He's shown that
He's
he
got
can
a few
play.
years left.
You wanna
He,
say
he's
that? You
he's
said
one of the
yeah.
all-time passing
Yeah,
leaders
that's it.
for this season. Like,
Okay, so what it says here on this article is they have to make a decision by February 15th, and that decision, he's owed $32.9 million, and $7.5 million of his 2024 salary will become guaranteed on the 15th. So that's where they could save a $7 million if they were to release him.
and it's because he signed a 3-year extension in April.
Mm-hmm. So they got to make a decision. What stays the 13th?
Yeah.
The next 2 days we'll be seeing news about Derek Carr. I've been hearing Saints a lot, though. I don't know if you guys have been reading about that. I've been hearing Saints so much. I really think it might be a done deal. But I'm with you. I think he fits the Jets a little better than the Saints. But
I would like Lamar on the Saints. Lamar would fit the Saints.
I would
That'd be
like that.
cool. But then that would just be a
whole nother thing.
whole thing with Kamara and Lamar and Michael Thomas. Like,
I think they're cutting Michael Thomas. I've been hearing that too.
good for them, dude. About time.
Yeah, it's been 3 years since he played a game.
He
That is
played
crazy.
a couple of games this season and he did good, but then he got a little toe cramp and then sat out the rest of the season.
It's been what, 4 years, 3 years since that record-breaking season, and I don't even think he's gotten maybe more than 500 yards since then.
I just think Lamar's a good fit for the Saints because the Saints just love to waste so much money on guys who have potential and don't do anything.
I agree. Is there anything else you guys want to say about free agency? Anything you've been hearing?
I would love to see Carr go to the Jets. I think that's a good fit for him. I think Lamar is probably going to stay in Baltimore. Rodgers will definitely be interesting to see.
D-Hop to Patriots? What do you guys think about that?
No shot.
No?
No shot.
Belichick has been rumored. I mean, there's so many videos out there. Belichick loves DeAndre Hopkins, so I wouldn't be shocked if
I
you
don't
hear some
blame
news about that. Yeah, who doesn't love DeAndre Hopkins? Am I right? All right, well, is there anything else you boys want to say?
Nope. Let's go get like Rodgers. Thanks for watching.
Let's go get like
See you soon.
Rodgers. The U!